their child is stuck under a car, and they just lift the car. I mean, we've all heard of situations where the normal trajectories of linear time and average common patterns of unfoldment did not hold sway, where it seemed like time and space themselves were somehow nullified in favor of some higher, more transcendent order. Now, when I ask you to believe in miracles, that's the same thing as saying, do you believe that those things occur? And you've raised your hands. Now look at your own life. And look at the situations in your own life that might in some ways hold you back. How much do you stand within that situation and actually stand firm around the thought that a miracle could happen here? On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing? What I find in my own life is that on a scale of 1 to 10, there'll be a situation where I'm maybe hovering around a 7 in terms of my actually standing in my own perspective for the belief that, well, a miracle could happen here. So sometimes I'll have somebody else remind me, well, you know, Marianne, a miracle could happen here. It could be a war that we're talking about. It could be an argument between two people that we're talking about. The very thought that miracles do happen is an extraordinary empowerment. It's a tool of empowerment if we allow it to be. And one of the things that I think about is how basically this is the concept of magic wands. You know, if you read a story like Cinderella, the fairy godmother appeared, and the fairy godmother took out her wand and she applied the power of the wand in the direction of a particular situation. And with that application of power that the wand brought forth, a pumpkin turned into a coach, and rags turned into a ball gown, and mice turned into coachmen. Well, you know, the fairy tales are actually metaphysical information given to all of us, given to children, and given to all of us if we're actually looking at what they say. And this transformation of circumstances that's brought about when the magic wand is applied towards them by, hello, God's mother, her fairy godmother, is a message to us here. It's a message to us here about a level of consciousness which is not within the box of what we have been trained on this earth to think of as reality. You know, the 21st century will not be just like the 20th century. Any more than the 20th century was just like the 19th century. Or the 19th century was just like the 18th century. Every century seems to carry with it a dominant worldview. And the 20th century, into which all of us have been trained, we've been trained into the thinking of the 20th century, was dominated by a paradigm, was dominated by a worldview that was very mechanistic, that was permeated by old Newtonian physics, which is not even embraced by science itself anymore, in which the world is seen as one large machine of sorts. And along with that worldview came the idea that we had very little power in terms of our own consciousness to change events or objects outside ourselves. That has now changed. Science itself, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that as an object is perceived differently, the object changes. Physicists now tell us that each and every one of us literally are the center of the universe. And so now science is opening up to reveal that this idea that consciousness has co-creative effects on the workings of the universe, co-creative in the sense that mankind participates with some higher divine order, that there is some intelligent design, that we can, through the power of our consciousness, affect objects and affect events. Now, this is very good news, particularly now at the beginning of the 21st century, because the world as we know it is not entirely in good shape. We are now at a place in our own development, both as individuals and as a species, where we are literally now called by history, and this is very clear if you look at what's going on the planet today. You know, we were taught in evolution, we were taught in school that the species evolve because a species gets to the point where its behavior is not well adapted for the survival of that species. What is occurring on the planet today is that the species is no longer well adapted for human survival. We fight too much. We must evolve past the place where our only way of fixing things is to destroy them. Right? We must absolutely learn